So, the apero is coming closer, but before we come to that, I am supposed to hold a fireside chat here on stage with Roman Lebeau, Marketing Director at Swissquote. Please join me here. Hello, hello, Roman. And also Danny, who was supposed to join us. Yes, both of you. A very warm welcome. Hello, good to meet you. And we already met again. Cool. Let me sit in the middle if I can. And I've been strictly instructed to keep this super short, so please, short answers for long-winded topics. Roman, we heard a lot from Danny and also about this impressive marketing tech framework, right? What is Swissquote doing to kind of live up to the future of marketing?
So we are doing obviously many things, but what Charlotte presented, of course, is super costly, as you said, and is very complex, especially for Swiss banks, you know, because until now, we were pretty limited when it comes to use cloud technologies because of the banking secrecy. So it tends to evolve, and we are working on it at Swissquote, but it's true that what Charlotte presented is still not there in the Swiss banking landscape so far. So big challenges.
Maybe let me ask you a follow-on question, and it probably goes to both of you. All of this Martech stuff, right, that is out there requires a lot of data around segmentation of the clients. What are the biggest challenges in the financial services industry to achieve good segmentation? Because in the banks where I had the privilege to serve as a CMO, we had gender and AUM as data, and that was about it.
No, we do have the data. The most complex thing actually is to have the right technology and the right processes to reach this, you know, one-to-one communication ground that we all want to activate. But the data is there. So, you know, when you open an account in Switzerland, you provide a lot of information. So it's not really about this. And then if you have a good, let's say, database internally and data lakes where you can actually track what your clients are doing on the platform, you do have the data. But really the big challenge is to plug the right technology to segment and to automate all the communications, because you know, at Swissquote we have 600,000 clients. It's impossible to do one-to-one manually. So we have to set up technology, we have to set up processes. But it's true, when you have limited access to cloud tech, it's super difficult. Yeah, almost impossible.
Whereas we actually saw in the examples of Danny, right, that this hyper-personalization and this one-person campaigns almost are possible. Do you think this also would be possible for Swissquote, what we saw and you and your colleague were presenting before, that you can be like super targeted?
Yes, I think what was mentioned is the lack of the issue with the data on the banking, so that makes it maybe harder to do. But they could, I mean, it could happen that without using the data internally, just if they started targeting very specific markets, very specific areas or people, they could just, you don't need to have like initial data for that. This is data that you could find out, you know, who are these people, and then the team could come up, you know, with what would be the angles, what would be the campaigns that could make them react. So it's not exactly the same. You don't need to have so much data. If you have, you could use it, but you could have very informal, unstructured or public data to do it.
Now, you presented two very interesting use cases and examples of companies actually moving away or, I can say, elevating themselves more towards the area of long-term value, long-term experience, with that binding the customers by adding value, especially in the B2B space. Can you share a little bit how long did it take these two organizations to build up such a framework?
I think for EMS they started a few years ago, so it took them a few years, and they got some learnings like on the way every year, and they grew like organically to see what works. But I think that's really the big difference, like how much we push marketing to become an IT department and spend so much time building so much technology and trying to do things. Whereas in B2B, you might have not so many targets or not so many audience, and you'd better do it by hand, or I mean, really know what's valuable for them and focus on building valuable things instead of building IT project on top. And I think that's the issue for some companies, you know, that invest too much into the technology and they forget in the end what they were trying to do at first.
Looking at his examples, would this also be an approach for Swissquote? I mean, I know you're not big in the B2B space, but still kind of with all the webinars, building out more a value-based approach for your clients.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Of course, we use, so just to come back on what I said before, so we use a lot of cloud tech to work on the customer acquisition, obviously. But when it comes to, you know, activate our clients or communicate with them, obviously the picture is very different. On the B2B side, so we already had a chat with Danny a few weeks ago. The B2B business at Swissquote is becoming more and more important. So we did not invest yet in specific marketing technology for that. Because, you know, we work with banks and brokers and this kind of people, so it's a very specific approach. So just to give you an example, everybody would think, oh yeah, to reach those guys, you should go on LinkedIn. But the thing is that the people our sales talk with are the head of dealing desk, head of treasury, and these kind of things. And actually, all those people, during the day, they are never on LinkedIn. They are just, their eyes fixed on the Bloomberg terminal. So what we did, we just bought Bloomberg Terminal for the sales, so that they can chat directly with the guys, basically, which is much more efficient. So at the end, you know, it's as Danny said, it's very important to think about what you want to achieve, because if you buy the tech but just without knowing what you're going to do after, it's a bit useless. Right.
It's a wonderful example, and thank you for sharing that. Now, Danny, you interviewed 150 Swiss companies, right, for your book. Can you share just one secret tip from that book before we all buy it? What was kind of the one thing that you think everybody in the room should know? One top tip. What are they all looking for, and what could we all do differently?
I think it's very basic, but you have to, you have to set the right expectations. And I think so much of the B2B, of the marketing efforts fail because maybe sometimes there is too much pressure. And when you need clients for tomorrow, you're not in a very good situation in B2B where things take 6, 9, 12 months. So it's kind of hard to balance like the short, immediate needs that people want, you know, the direction, etc. Where with the reality that just these things take time. You need to build trust, you need to be known for a while, and things will happen. So it's more of a marathon than a very quick win, finding a hack and so on. Of course, that can happen with some digital marketing on some very specific market or demand.
So we all should prepare ourselves for the marketing marathon. That's basically what you are saying.
Yes, maybe.
Yes, maybe. Okay. Roman, on your end, Swissquote does a lot of marketing, right? And also is very active with emails. You have a fantastic magazine that is very widely read. What is the one thing from this year that you feel exceptionally proud of in terms of a marketing initiative that you guys did, that also could serve as an inspiration for anyone listening?
Yeah, thank you for asking the question, because actually you know what we are proud of, because you are on it now. It's our YouTube channel. So this is something I just mentioned that, but we have the chance to have Olga also working with us since a few weeks now on our YouTube channel. So what we do on YouTube since 2021 now, we publish daily videos, but it's not it's not staff for Swissquote, so we have different partners, and we work with experts, and they publish videos which talks about the markets basically, but with a slightly different tone of voice that you can usually find on internet, so which is in line with our brand identity. So we want to democratize a bit and demystify the financial markets. And this, we're super proud of it, because we offer this content in 5 languages today. And when we look at the benchmark metrics, actually, in terms of engagements, what we see is that we rank by far compared to the other financial brands in the world. So meaning we have almost 150,000 followers today. More than 25,000 views per day on our video, and there are very few brands in the financial sector which can really witness of such figures. So we are super proud, and especially because it's super useful for the people, and we have very positive feedbacks, and of course the magazine, which has been running for more than 20 years. So these are really the 2 things we are very proud of.
And just how long did it take you to build out the YouTube channels?
But I mean, we are working on it every day, you know. So we try to find new content to offer, let's say, new shows based on the feedbacks we receive from the community. But it's a never-ending process. So we started in 2020 I was chatting with Thomas Veillet this afternoon. He published the 1000th video because we started 3 years ago, and so we already produced so much content, and we will continue. So it's never, for me, it's never finished. But now let's say the next step is to let's say to enlarge a bit the languages. So soon we will open the YouTube channel in Arabic for the Gulf region, and yeah, that's kind of the things we are working on. But it took us 3 years to reach that level, and we will continue because the more people watch us, the better for us. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Very cool example of free content creation, really. Congratulations on that. Now, to my final question, maybe let's start with you, Danny. We saw 4 startups here on stage, right? Not every company has a lavish marketing budget. What would be kind of your one recommendation that startups should be doing to improve their marketing in this world of giant Martech, lavish B2B, building out huge academies that the corporate brands can do? What can the startups do that have really very little money, other than signing up to the influencer channel that we saw before?
Well, I think in B2B and for startups, what usually happens is that the first growth or the development of the company is done by the founders and more through a sales, like personal approach. And I think for a startup, it's very important to be in touch and to bring things to the market themselves so they can learn and have feedback instead of going for marketing campaigns and then they don't really know what works or what doesn't. So it really depends on the scale, but usually starting by more of a personal approach, learn what works and then maybe scale it, or once you really understand, you know, the reason why they buy or the messages that resonate, etc., then you can maybe scale more with marketing. And then marketing, you need to figure out if whether on your market there is space for acquisition, if there is like a lot of demand which is like untapped, where you can just promote your services and people will connect to you, or whether it's an industry where people are not very actively looking for what you do and it's like some very rare investments that they do, so this is way harder to go on the market when people are not looking for you and you never know, like once in every 2-3 years they're going to look for the solution. So how are you present on that?
So actually no large Martech architecture needed at the beginning?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay, thank you so much. And Roman, from a corporate Swissquote perspective, right, where, if you put yourself into the shoes of a larger corporate CMO, where would you invest your dollars today? Is it the tech? Is it the people? Is it YouTube? Kind of from your experience, what would that be?
Tech and people, for sure, because you can have all the tech that you want, but if you don't have the right people on board, it's almost impossible to succeed. So, and I see it since I became director 3 years ago. I have a team of 40 people at Swissquote, and it's absolutely key if you want to reach the objectives, if you want to develop your brand and to support the growth of the company you work for. If you don't have the right people, you can have the tech, it's not going to happen. So now for 25, YouTube is still obviously something we're going to continue to invest on, but yeah, all the AI marketing tech is obviously a topic for us. I saw very interesting stuff today, actually. We're talking the Clear Sky. I think I'm going to have a chat afterwards. But now we use AI today to create copywriting, images. So next topic is about landing pages, this kind of thing. So very pragmatic and very specific topics, but just to increase the efficiency and the time to market. That's a bit our challenge at the moment. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Well, thank you so much to both of you for joining me for this super quick fireside chat.
Thank you.
Roman, thank you for being here, and Danny, thank you for your presentation and for joining me here. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the close of the Global Tech Summit, 5th edition 2024 out of Lausanne. All of you who lasted so far deserve a really wonderful apéro. Thank you so much. I hope you do feel inspired. Thank you to all the great speakers we had tonight, the partners that made all of this possible. Huge thanks to Olivier, Christian, and of course also the fabulous tech team. Without them, we would have no lights, no images, and nothing. And I hope you join us for a splendid apéro. Have a wonderful evening. Thanks so much.